Hello there, it's Samantha. So today I'm coming to you with my August book haul and wrap up. I'm really sorry that this video is going up a little bit late, but I was actually in Spain for the last 3 weeks. I've been in Spain doing a summer school because I study Spanish at university, so I had to go there to practice my Spanish and go to school every day for 3 weeks. And I got back recently, but I haven't had time to film this yet. So I'm filming it today, and hopefully I'll get it up today as well. If not, I'll get it up tomorrow, but like you won't know because you don't know what day I'm filming this, but it will be up soon. Sorry for the delay, and sorry for not posting recently. I didn't actually manage to edit my videos before I left, so even though I had things pre-filmed, I didn't have the time to edit them, so unfortunately there were no videos here for a while, but I'm back. So in the month of August I acquired 6 books. I bought 4 books and then 2 books I didn't actually buy. I won one of the challenges for the Biannual Bibliothon, so I'll link my video that won down below, and I'll link my whole playlist down below in case you want to go check it out. But yeah, I actually won one of the challenges, so I received a book for that, and then one is a duplicate copy because the first one they sent me was kind of ruined, so I asked for a new one and they sent me a new one, so I have 2 of those. Anyway, and I unfortunately only managed to read 4 books during the month of August, but as I said, it was a busy month, so let's just go ahead and get into the books. So the first book that I bought in the month of August was one where I mentioned this in my last book haul and wrap up, how Amazon had this deal where they had 2 paperbacks for £7, so I decided to use the deal again because you can use it as many times as you wanted. It's not going on anymore, so if you missed it, you missed it, but oh well. Anyway, so I decided to use that deal again. So I picked up Moxie by Jennifer Matthew. I've heard people say it both ways and I don't know which way is correct. This is obviously the UK cover because I live in the UK if you didn't know. So yes, this is the UK cover. It's very different from the American cover. But this book is about this girl called Viv. Now I know her name, who is really sick of all of the sexism that's been going on in her school. In order to combat this, she starts writing this feminist zine, and I think a lot of other stuff happens. I just heard fantastic things about this, so I decided to pick it up because it was in the deal and it caught my eye and I really wanted to read it. The next book that I have is the one where I actually have 2 copies of it. I decided to pick up One Dark Throne by Kendare Blake. This is the sequel to Three Dark Crowns. So I ordered this as well to go with the deal, and it showed up, and this cover is like, you probably won't even be able to see it, but it's all like bent and gross. So I was like, no Amazon, that's not okay. I wanted my book in like new condition. I went onto the app and I was like, oh, it's in bad condition, can I get a new one? And so they just sent me a new one. So I have 2 copies of this. I'll definitely get rid of this at some point, but I'm actually gonna read from this copy because I like my books to be in really good condition. So like normally I read a book like this so I don't break the spine, but this one for some reason is actually a floppy paperback, but this one, the one in good condition, actually isn't. So if I read from this one, I'd have to read like this to keep it in good condition, but if I read from this one, I can just flop it open and I can put this in my bag and it can get totally ruined and it doesn't even matter, and then as soon as I'm done with it, I can take it to a charity shop or donate it to a library or something like that. So yeah, I'm gonna keep both copies for now until I've read it, but I'll definitely get into this one soon because the 3rd book comes out either later this month or next month. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be getting to this one very soon. The next book that I have to haul is one that I've actually already read, so I'll talk about it more in the wrap-up portion. But one day I went out to lunch with my brother. We walked past Waterstones on the way back. So we went in and I saw this book, which is Starry Eyes by Jen Bennett. In July I read Alex Approximately, also by Jen Bennett, and I absolutely loved it. So I really wanted to read more of her stuff. And normally I buy my books from Amazon because it's cheaper, and I know that's bad and you should support bookshops, but you know, I just can't beat that price. So I use Amazon a lot. But it was actually the same price as Amazon as it was in the bookstore. And then when I went to the bookstore, I have like a rewards card, so I got money off. So I managed to get this book for really cheap. I picked this book up as well. I will talk about it in the wrap up. I'm not gonna mention what it's about here. I also got this book in August. The next book I have to haul is another one that I finished in the month of August. I absolutely loved it. I picked it up and read it in about an hour, and I wish I'd taken more time with it actually, but it's so short and it's definitely one I'm going to be rereading a lot. And that is The Sweetest Kind of Poison by Katie Weismer. You probably know of Katie from Kate's Book Date, and she is the author of this. She wrote her own poetry collection and published it. It came out in August and I picked it up and I've already read it, and I'll talk about it more in the wrap up, but oh my god, this is fantastic. And I don't really read poetry. This is the first poetry collection I picked up and I loved it, and I'll definitely be rereading it in the future. It was just so fantastic. So yeah, if you haven't picked this up yet, please do. And you know, it's good to support fellow booktubers. Some people are really funny when booktubers publish their own books, but like, I don't know why, because we all love to read and some of us like to write as well. Like, I like to write as well. I'm actually currently working on something. More on that in a later video when I get back to it because I haven't been working on it recently. But anyway, I'm going to talk about this in the wrap-up section. So the final book that I received in the month of August was Milk and Honey by Ruby Kaur. This is the book that I won with my Biannual Bibliothon challenge. So Momo from the BookTube Girl actually really liked my video and decided that I was a winner. So this is the book that I received. As you can see, I've actually already read it and I tabbed 2 things, but I actually read this today and this morning actually. So I will talk about it in my September wrap up because You don't need to know about this, but I'm sure you've heard of it. It is a very famous poetry collection, which many people have read and loved. I didn't love it so much, but I will talk about it in my September wrap-up. Not this wrap-up. Those were all of the books that I bought / received in the month of August. Now I'll move on to the books that I read. The first 2 books that I have to mention I already spoke about in my Booktubeathon wrap-up, so I'm just going to mention them really quickly here, just my thoughts very briefly and my rating. So the first book I have is The Mills and Boon Modern Girl's Guide to Happy Hour. I always have to read off the cover because it's such a long title, but this is a coffee table book that I read to complete one of the silly challenges of the Booktubeathon. I don't mean that as a criticism. I love the silly challenges. I think they make things interesting. But yeah, I only read it for that and I ended up giving it a 3 out of 5 stars because it wasn't that great. And the next book that I read for the Booktubeathon was Alex and Eliza by Melissa De La Cruz. I ended up giving this one a 3.5. It was good, but not great, and I don't think you'd like it if you didn't like Hamilton because it was quite slow moving, but because I absolutely adore Hamilton, I obviously really enjoyed this book for that part. So yeah, it was good, but not great. The next book that I read in the month of August was The Sweetest Kind of Poison by Katie Weismer. This poetry collection was so beautiful and so well written. I was honestly so blown away by it. I just didn't think I was going to enjoy it because I'm not into poetry. But oh my god, I loved this book so much. I found a lot of the passages to be really relatable even though the subject matter isn't actually relatable for me. This poetry collection deals with an abusive relationship and I've never been in any relationship, so I couldn't relate at all. But there were so many poems in it that even though I haven't been in a relationship, I still found them to be relatable to me, like things about self-worth and self-love and things like that. And I just think that this book was absolutely fabulous and you should definitely pick it up if you're at all interested in poetry. Please pick this book up. I obviously gave it a 5 out of 5 stars and it was fantastic and I love it so much. The final book that I finished in the month of August was Starry Eyes by Jen Bennett. This book is about this girl called Zori and this boy called Lennon. Zori and Lennon used to be best friends and maybe even more, but now they're not. Zori is like a massive planner and her mom ropes her into going on this camping trip with one of her friends, and so she decides to go and she goes on this camping trip and then Lennon is there and she's like, no. And then due to various circumstances, she ends up getting stuck in the woods with only Lennon for company. And this book was a lot of fun in parts, but also had some darker themes to it. I myself am not a fan of camping whatsoever, but this book made me want to go camping. I really love Jen Bennett's writing style, however, I will say that this book was a little bit too long for my liking. I only ended up giving a 3.75 out of 5 stars because of that, but it still had really funny moments. I really enjoyed all of the characters, and I really enjoyed the settings. And this cover is so beautiful. It was really good, and I would definitely recommend it if you're a fan of Alex Approximately, because if you like her writing style then you're probably gonna enjoy this as well, but it was a little bit too slow for me. But anyway, here are all the books that I read / bought / received in the month of August. But that's all that I have for today's video, so I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe down below. Please let me know what you read or bought in the month of August, or just books that you're loving at the moment. But that's all I have for today's video, so I will see you very soon with another one. Bye!